Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. The last two chapters of Proverbs are written by a man named Agur, the son of Jacob. We don't know much about him, and it's hard to pinpoint with any accuracy who this man might have been. He was an associate, most people think of Solomon in some respect. But what we want to consider is not who he is so much, but what he says about himself in our verse. You know, if someone come up to you and said, every time I read this verse, I think about you, you might be encouraged. That is until you looked it up. Then you wouldn't be as encouraged. Well, what's our verse that we want to look at? It's in chapter 30, verse 2. It says, surely I am more stupid than any man, and I do not have the understanding of a man. And that verse kind of shocks us the first time we read it. And it's even more shocking if somebody would say, every time I read this verse, I think of you. But it's one thing to have somebody say that about me out loud. It's not very nice. But if I say it about myself, that's another matter altogether. We might expect the verse to say that I'm more stupid than my teachers, but more stupid than any man, that's not giving yourself much credit. Actually, it's not giving yourself any credit whatsoever. But that's what Agur is doing here. It's a statement of profound humility. Humility is an admission of need. It's the opposite of being proud and needing nothing. It's a long way from being wise in one's own eyes, as we looked at last time. Next to the fear of God, it is the next step into true wisdom and understanding. Proverbs 15:33 says, the fear of the Lord is instruction and wisdom, and humility comes before honor. Proverbs 18:12, before destruction a man's heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. 22:4, the reward for humility and fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. What Agur is reminding us of here, in his own way, is that reverence is the beginning of knowledge. Galatians 6:3 says, if anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself. 1 Corinthians 3:18, let no one deceive himself. If anyone among you thinks he is wise in this age, let him become a fool, that he may become wise. Agur in this statement shows he has little self-assurance, but that does not mean he has no assurance or no understanding. His assurance and knowledge and understanding are not based on his own understanding, his own wisdom, but on the wisdom and the word of God. Romans 1 says that Paul states that man professing to be wise became fools. Professing to understand this world by their own blind, foolish, God-rejecting reasoning and wisdom, they became fools. Spiritual growth is a growth downward into humility. You know you are growing spiritually when you are getting smaller in your own eyes and God is getting bigger. Mankind has totally flip-flopped this. Man is exalted in his own eyes and God is small. We are strong and God is weak. We are sovereign and God is our servant. To become wise biblically is to be deemed a fool in the eyes of the world. To be wise in the eyes of the world is to be a fool biblically. We need to come to the Word of God with a humble heart, a hungry heart, and a heart that says with David, teach me your ways. Job 6:24 says, teach me and I will be silent. Make me understand how I have gone astray. Psalm 25:4, make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your paths. Psalm 27:11, teach me your way, O Lord, and lead me on a level path because of my enemies. Have you ever tried to teach someone who thinks they know more about the subject than you do? Well, with the internet these days, it seems like everybody knows more about the subject than their teachers, at least they think they do. But to try to teach somebody like that is an exercise in futility, because they learn nothing. They're just comparing everything they know with what you know, and they think they're right. But to teach someone who's teachable, who wants to learn, who admits their ignorance, that is the beginning of knowledge. That's the beginning of wisdom. That is the person God will teach, will give wisdom to and understanding. There's a wonderful example of this in 1 Kings with Solomon himself, the writer of most of Proverbs. When he found out he was going to be king after David died, listen to how he prays in 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 6 to 9. And Solomon said, you have shown great and steadfast love to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in faithfulness and righteousness and in uprightness of heart towards you. And you kept for him this great and steadfast love, and have given him a son to sit on his throne to this day. And now, O Lord, my God, you have made your servant king in place of my David, my father. Although I am but a little child, I do not know how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, whom we have chosen, a great people, too many to be numbered or counted for multitude. Give your servant, therefore, an understanding mind to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to govern this, your great people? The way up is the way down. Solomon could easily have said, listen, I've been around David my whole life. I know how this thing works. I know politics work. I know the politics work and how to control people and how to tell people what to do. I don't need any help. I don't need any advice. But he doesn't do that. He says, I am but a little child. So if you read verse 2 of chapter 30, surely I am more stupid than any man. I do not have the understanding of the man. Don't feel sorry for Agar. He's on the path to wisdom. But let me close with this question. What path are you on? What path am I on? David says in Psalm 25:5, lead me in your truth and teach me. For you are the God of my salvation. For you I wait all day long. May we find ourselves on that path with a heart that says, Lord, I don't know everything. I know nothing. Teach me your word. Teach me your ways. May this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.